It's my favorite time of the year. No, it's not Thanksgiving. No, it's not Christmas. No, it's not a new season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but it is Grammy nominations drop time. And as you know, I love the Grammys, except for when my favorites lose, then fuck the Grammys. No, I'm not someone that cares too much about Grammys or award shows. I love the spectacle of watching it, but I don't put that much stock into awards. But in 2024 and now in 2025, pop music has just been having a great moment. Women in pop music especially are kind of dominating the industry. So last year I challenged myself to try to say something nice about every main pop girl of 2024, and I want to make it a recurring series. Stan wars are toxic. Women are always pitted against each other, and I want to bring us together and even put my own biases aside and try to find the strengths and the great things about every female pop star that we have in the mainstream. Some are very easy for me, some not so much, but that is the whole fun of it. I just want to do my part in ending the Stan wars. Welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Selena. I typically cover TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things on this channel, so subscribe if that's your vibe. Let's get into it. First of all, my criteria. It's pretty much the same as last year. This video will cover female pop stars who released a new album in 2025, not including deluxes. So unfortunately, no Ariana, no SZA. The main part of main pop girl is definitely subjective. For me, a main pop girl is an artist who, if they were to tour, they would play arenas or larger, or have had a very big pop era in the past that meets that criteria. So maybe they have dwindled in popularity now, but have achieved main pop girl status in the past. And honestly, the pop in main pop girl is also a subjective label. I'm considering artists whose main label of their music genre is pop, but since these are many talented, very interesting artists, a lot of them are stretching the boundaries of genre and overlapping and dipping into different genres, so it's not an exact science, so I'm sure I'll inevitably miss somebody. I also don't want this video to be 8 hours long to talk about everyone in the pop industry, but I'm sure y'all will yell at me in the comments if I missed your fave. I am sorry in advance. You can look ahead at the timestamps to get spoilers about who I'm going to talk about, so I guess you can yell at me starting now. Okay, who is our first victim? So first up is Tate McRae. She had her album So Close to What released early in 2025 and has actually achieved mainstream success with that album. This is an exciting one to start with because I owe her a congratulations for escaping the Kia asylum, graduating, moving out of the middle class of pop into the upper class of pop. This time last year, I did not consider Tate McRae a main pop girl. She was right on the edge, but with her album coming out in 2025, some great singles, some pop culture moments and collabs that were not my favorite, but she's been touring on the Miss Possessive tour, and that has been an arena tour. So congratulations, Tate, you're a main pop girl. It's funny because last year I said I decided not to include any pop stars that are still fighting their way out of the Kia asylum. So there's gonna be no Tate McRae's, no Madison Beers, no Ava Max's. Now she's here with this album, and she gets the honor of me talking about her and being nice. So Tate McRae, I thought the album was pretty enjoyable. It's pretty like straightforward pop music. She does lean for me into the pop star for the straights category, which for me, my music taste is very gay club dance floor, electronic dance pop, and Tate McRae comes close. I enjoy some of her tracks like Sports Car or that single she put out for F1. Was it for F1? Just Keep Watching. Something about Tate I admire a lot is her dancing ability. She is definitely leading the main pop girl pack in choreography, which has kind of been a lost art in recent times. At the end of 2010s, with the bedroom pop Push and artists like Billie Eilish, which is no shade to her, but choreography kind of came out of style, and Tate McRae has brought it back to the forefront, and I think that's kind of something special about seeing her live, I imagine, is seeing her choreography. She has a fun sand pit that she dances in, which, trend alert, litter box on stage vibes, because Tate McRae has a sandbox. And Lady Gaga has a sandbox on her tour. So yeah, I love Tate McRae's choreography, that her origins come from being on So You Think You Can Dance. I almost feel with Tate McRae sometimes like she's kind of a dancer first and foremost, and she just has to also put out songs to be able to like dance and perform dance for her fans, if that makes sense, which I enjoy. I enjoy the art of dance, and I feel like there's not many places to platform dancing on such a large scale, so I feel like she has made it happen with being a pop star. Also, something about Tate McRae, similar to the 2024 Powerpuff Girls, Sabrina, Chapel, and Charlie, Tate McRae has been around for a while. She's been putting out music for a while. She did not just come out of nowhere or come out like recently, start putting out music. She has been around. I remember seeing her music videos like a few years ago because I watched the music video channel on Samsung TV all the time, and I would see her pop up and I'd be like, who's that? I've never heard of her, and it was Tate McRae, and I saw some of her videos. So she's been making music videos, she's been putting out music, and I think she finally found her audience this year. She had some great music videos where she showcased her movement abilities. I think that's plenty nice. I love her choreography, dance ability, and that she has worked hard to get here. The Formula One song was nominated for Best Dance Pop Recording, which this category is literally my category at the Grammys. Like, everything in this category I'm obsessed with. So there was a little Grammy love, though this track was not on the album, so the album kind of got snubbed at the Grammys. Okay, next up is actually a Disney trio that all happened to release albums this year, and I want to start with Miley Cyrus. She released Something Beautiful and a deluxe version as well of the album, and it's interesting because this album was not commercially successful. It definitely had a hard times. It came and went, and it did not make a lot of noise in pop culture, but I have noticed it has some loyal, dedicated fans online that say it's underrated. In the future, people will revisit it and wonder why it didn't succeed. But something I love about Miley Cyrus, well, there's so many things. I've grown up with her, of course, but she is putting the art of music before anything else kind of artist. I can appreciate when a pop star is hungry and ambitious for commercial success, but when an artist has a point of view and they're excited about it and they're passionate, that to me is the magic of music and art in general and creativity. And I feel like Miley does that. Something that goes hand in hand with that with Miley is her great respect for all of the legends in music that came before her. Especially her being a Nepo baby, I would expect her to not really care about older generations, but she is completely the opposite. She just reveres people like Dolly Parton and Elton John, Stevie Nicks, like every music legend pretty much. She has gone out of her way to like collab with or talk about. They are her inspirations. On the deluxe version of Something Beautiful, there's like a 13-minute track with David Byrne, and it's just like no one else her age is showing that kind of like passion for music and all of these artists who paved the way for her. I appreciate her experimentation with music. She just always does her own thing. She's tried out different genres. She has interesting collabs with these other generations. She has a very unique voice. Her raspy rock tone. My favorite album of hers will forever be Plastic Hearts, which was her kind of 80s rock era and vibe. And I listened to Something Beautiful. It kind of slipped me by when it actually came out, but when I was thinking about making this video, I went and listened to all these albums, and Something Beautiful was very interesting. It was just very artistic. It felt cinematic in a way. It felt like art. It felt like music. And it's not really my typical, you know, clubby taste. But there were some great songs that I enjoyed and then put on my playlist, like Walk of Fame I really liked. End of the World, that was the other one I liked. There were some boppy ones for sure, those two. And then a lot of the album felt kind of power ballady. It felt a little retro, maybe a little 80s. Now having listened to it, I do see that it was underrated. And I don't think it bothers her too much. I'm sure she would have liked people to hear it that would like it, you know, like more people hear it. But she is not someone chasing that commercial success or chart success because she's already done it. She has made so many people's childhoods, including my own. She was Hannah Montana for all of us, and I think achieving all of that so young let her be free now as an adult to pursue the art that she wants, have whatever point of view and vision she wants, and not worry about commercial success. And I appreciate also how she's been candid in interviews and stuff about how grueling her life was as a child entertainer. Her schedule was insane. She talks about like her hair being made up of like 200 individual hair extensions. And that always stuck out to me because I feel like back in the heyday of peak Miley Cyrus, her hair was a lot of young girls, including my own, even though I have curly hair normally. Her hair was like the hair goals and inspo. Seeing her retroactively just be very candid and open about like that was just hair extensions helped me really sink in that Hollywood is all just like a facade and the beauty we see on screen is just a bunch of like duct tape and prayers in the background. She just has played a small part in that, just being so candid about the kind of uglier side of growing up in the public eye. She did this year have a bit of a misstep. That was not my favorite, where she was ignoring fans at album signing. I think it's hard with Miley because she has given so much as a young person that I don't blame her for not wanting the fame or being kind of like ungrateful to fans or not wanting to tour. Like she famously does not like to do concerts or tour. I don't blame her too much for that, just because of everything she went through as a kid, and everyone feeling so entitled to her when she was like underage straight up. I'm aware of the clip, you know, whatever. It's not a nice look when it's like a situation where it's sanctioned for fans to meet you. It's not like she was in public. It is what it is. I said a lot of nice things. Something Beautiful did get nominated at the Grammys, I think for Best Pop Vocal Album, so it didn't completely get snubbed, which makes sense to me because the music was something I feel like the Grammys people would appreciate. So next up is another Disney darling, and that is Demi Lovato. She had her long-awaited comeback to pop music this year, and pretty recently actually, towards the end of the year. This album was not part of the Grammy cutoff date, so it would be in like next year's Grammys if it was at all, but I kind of doubt it will. Demi Lovato released It's Not That Deep, which is in the building. Yes, of course it is. It's very much my type of music. It's not out of the packaging yet because, I don't know, I've been doing like unboxings on TikTok for the albums I buy recently. But CDs are kind of weird because like nobody cares. Like people care about vinyls more. I'm undecided if I need to wait to unwrap this or not, but it's still in the packaging as of now. I am obsessed with this album, like obsessed. And it's not that deep. Because the album's name is Not That Deep. And that's the first nice thing I will say about Demi. Naming this album It's Not That Deep is a genius move to kind of avoid critique. It's not going to avoid, you know, the pitchforks and the Fantanos and whoever that's probably giving it a bad score. But if there's online noise or people saying she's copying Charli XCX, she is derivative of XYZ pop star, her reply very easily, it's not that deep. And that's the name of the album. Like, to me, it's genius to kind of like get across that it's not that serious, to be like critiquing it so hard. This was very much a clubby, dancey pop album. I do think Demi as an artist is a bit trend chasey with whatever genre she decides to pursue, it tends to be a little derivative. But when she adds her own secret sauce, it still has a special quality about it. And she's had a lot of hits on the Billboard charts and everything. Cool for the Summer alone could be this whole section for Demi Lovato, because that song, yes, it was like peak EDM era and like chasing that trend of EDM and pop stars doing EDM, but that song is just one of the best pop songs of all time, and perfect because it's seasonal, so every season it can come back. I do think Demi has an eye for bangers and she has a very special voice. Her vocal ability is very soulful, is very powerful, and that's been her signature throughout all of these genre changes. For this era, people have been accusing Demi a lot of copying Charli XCX because she kind of wanted with this album to make music for, you know, the gay club. And I do think the aesthetics have been brat-ish for the album, but the sound of the album is not very brat. Aside from Frequency, that song kind of feels like 365 vibes. A lot of the album is just like pure pop and does not remind me of Charli XCX. I think because Demi has a very different voice than Charli XCX and doesn't have like the auto-tune quality. So I really don't feel like this album, when I listen to it, is trying to be brat. And I'm still obsessed with it. Like, it's just so dancey. Honestly, there are a couple of tracks, like 2 or 3 tracks, that sound a lot like Taylor Swift tracks. Like, it feels like a song that would be on a Taylor album. It reminds me of Taylor Swift in a complimentary way, not derogatory, which it can go either way with me with Miss Swift. It's the song Let You Go and then Before I Knew You as well. Those tracks to me sounded very Taylor Swift. So I don't really care. The songs are good, and that's what matters. They're better to me than what Taylor released this year. Oh my god, I'm not even in Taylor's section. I'm already struggling. But the album is full of bangers. I don't know what to tell you. Despite a lot of label sabotage too, because right now Demi is kind of having a hard time with her label not promoting the album well. It departed the charts really fast. It's hard because she was out there doing so much press. She was leaning into every meme, which was fun to see. It was fun to see Demi Lovato promoting the album, excited about it, referencing herself and poking fun and being unserious about it, seeing her on Las Culturistas. Like, she was everywhere. And her label kind of just messed up the whole promotion of the album. And I also love all of Demi Lovato's documentaries. I have watched them all. I think the most recent project like that she did was the one about child acting and child stardom. That was really interesting. It was more of a series. Oh my god, I forgot what it was called, but it had like Jojo Siwa in it, Christina Ricci, Kenan Thompson, like different generations kind of childhood stardom, and she's been trying to like help push for legislation around it. It's very interesting. So she makes fun now of all the documentaries she's made, but I live for it. So I don't care about all the documentaries. And also, Demi's a meme queen. That's the last thing I'll say. The last nice thing. She's a meme queen. The mug. Come on. That's our real life Miss Congeniality. Describe your favorite date. Like, I can't believe we have a real life moment like that. I've been loving it. I've been loving her just have fun with it and have fun with music, because she has had a lot of trauma, a lot of very dark things that the public has witnessed from her. So I'm just glad she's healthy, she's happy, and making bangers. So next up is Selena Gomez. This really is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit of Disney darlings, because we had Miley, we have Demi, and now we have Selena. It's crazy they all put out an album in 2025. And for Selena, it was actually a collab album with her now husband, Benny Blanco. And the album is called I Said I Love You First. And Selena Gomez is a very interesting pop star, because sometimes music feels like a hobby to her in her career, because she does so many things. She has kept pursuing acting, and not even cheesy acting. She's on a heavily Emmy-nominated TV show that's been running for many seasons, many years now. And then she has her business. Rare Beauty is huge. She had like a cooking show at one point. So I love that she just like does whatever she wants in the moment and whatever she's drawn to. And to me, it's so funny that like music is one of her many projects, and yet she can like spot a hit a mile away. She kind of put a pause on music a few years ago, but then randomly was featured on the song Calm Down, which was like #1 on Billboard a lot of, what year was that? 2023. She was kind of like on a break from music, but then was on this song that was like a smashing hit and won awards. And now she put out a new album, which was a really fun album. It kind of has something for everybody when I listened to it. For me, I'm obsessed with Blue is Flame, of course. It is a track produced and written by Charlie XCX. There's some horny tracks like Cowboy, and they're kind of campy. And then there's some like softer kind of sad vibes with Ojos Tristes, which is a song that already existed, but she collabed with the Marias on a version for this album. I also do appreciate Selena Gomez being representation for Latinas in the US, American people with Mexican descent. She has always tried to like incorporate Spanish into her music throughout her career, so I gotta appreciate that. Hopefully everyone forgot about Emilia Perez by this time of the year. And sorry for repeating it now, but that was a little misstep, you know, for Selena Gomez. And I think she has so many projects that genuinely people probably kind of forgot about that. I kind of forgot about that, which is crazy. I never thought I would if you asked me in January. This album was fierce. She's very happy with her then fiance, now husband, Benny Blanco, who I was kind of skeptical of at first. I was like, because he's kind of a weird guy in interviews and stuff, and I was like, is this guy just like riding coattails here? Is he like just after her for her fame or her money or something? And then I saw all those TikToks about all of the songs Benny Blanco has produced, and I gagged because it's like every top 40 charting pop song that I've ever loved. It's a lot of Katy Perry hits, Kesha hits, that whole era. I'm sorry I was not familiar with your game, Benny Blanco, but now I'm happy for this partnership, and I think it's great for both of them. It was clearly like a labor of love, this album, and fun for them to make music together. It's kind of like a unique thing that partners could do together. Yeah, I'm happy for her. Congrats on her wedding. I said this video was not going to be 8 hours long, but now I'm not so sure. Okay, next up is Rosalia, who kind of snuck in here at the tail end because her album just came out like a week ago as I'm recording this, or maybe a few days ago. I don't even know. It just came out when I'm recording this, so we don't know anything about Grammy noms or anything. I imagine she will be heavily in the conversation for the 2027 Grammys, which is sounds so far away, but I guess it's not. She just released her album Luxe, and this album is so interesting because it is very different, very unique. Similar to what I was saying about Miley, it sounds like Rosalia is about the music and about the art. She kind of makes songs with sounds I've just never heard put together before, if that makes sense. And she's very experimental, and it doesn't feel like she's chasing commercial success, but she achieves commercial success. She has a global chokehold in pop music. Luxe is so interesting because it's bringing in so many classical music elements. I do feel like trend alert, cinematic music is so in between Rosalia releasing Luxe, which is an extremely like cinematic album. She's been putting out these visuals that are just classical inspired and very artsy, Renaissance vibes, I guess. Not Renaissance, but like Renaissance. You know. Charlie XCX right now is promoting her upcoming album that is a companion album to Wuthering Heights. Even Miley Cyrus's album felt like cinematic in a way, so there's something there with the people that are pushing pop forward are going in this direction that's very like helping you visualize a whole intricate romantic setting, and maybe it's like taking escapism to a whole new crazy level, but Rosalia is right there at the forefront. And in Lux, she is singing in all these different languages. I've heard it's maybe hit or miss on accuracy, but she's doing it. I'm very interested to see how the Grammys receive it and also how it performs commercially, because Motomami was like trailblazing but also pretty commercial. For Lux, bringing in so much classical elements, I don't know if that's gonna work for commercial success. So good for her. I had to include her in this because she is a main pop girl to me, and she met the criteria. She put out an album at the last second, but she made it. Okay, next. Oh god, y'all aren't ready. I snuck her in last year, but this year I didn't have to sneak her in because she met the criteria fair and square. I mean, last year she did too. She released a companion album to a movie that shall not be named, but this year was the year of Lady Gaga. And it feels so good to be a little monster in 2025. Like, this was our year. And just let us celebrate for a moment, because Lady Gaga might not starve us the way Rihanna starves the Navy, the ultimate example, but we don't get new Gaga pop albums that often. It's usually every 4 to 5 years, and there can be a lot of detours in between, and I'll follow her anywhere, to the moon and back. I've followed Gaga in so many directions, and her 2025 album Mayhem truly felt like a culmination of this winding road of a pop career that she has had. If you don't know, I'm a little monster. Can you tell? Chromatica right there. Let me bring out the big guns. This is my when I'm filming and I get too hot fan. Mayhem is absolutely my album of the year. The Japan edition, I made a video unboxing this. All of these, actually. I don't even know where to begin, and I could talk about this forever, of course, but Mayhem is such a special album, and it's a special time because Lady Gaga is really happy and healthy right now, and that hasn't been the case, I think, her entire career. And watching her in press and interviews this year has been really great as a fan, a stan of hers. Like, it really feels like she figured out that you don't have to be a tortured artist to be a good artist. And that was kind of the big epiphany with Mayhem, because she was able to dip back into her own nachos recipe and make new nachos that were her nachos, but better and the same and great. She absolutely ate with this album. I made a whole video talking just about Mayhem if you're curious about my little monster tendencies. But this year she was also on tour. She had a stellar Coachella performance that was kind of the beginning of her whole touring cycle. I went to see her at the first night of Mayhem Ball Tour in Vegas, and it was everything to me because the tour included a lot of like great surprises for old fans and fans that have been there forever, like Summer Boy being performed, a song I've propaganded for since I was literally 15. Ask anyone I know, I've played on that song. Her adding Aura to the intro medley of the tour, or the surprise song at the end when Art Pop started playing that first night in Vegas. Like, we didn't know that was gonna happen. Oh my god, I lost my shit. She's just like at the top of her game, and it's crazy to me because like I'm so glad I'm a little monster. I'm sure if you have any problematic faves or anything, you know how this feels, but like back in the day, being a little monster was like you were fighting. You were ready to fight because people said she's a gimmick, she's not serious, she can't sing. This is what people would say back then because she was so edgy and shocking with her fashion. The meat dress, everyone made fun of us, of course. Nowadays, I tell people I'm a little monster and they're like, ooh, I love Lady Gaga. And I'm just like, all of a sudden, everyone loves Lady Gaga. I see how it is. Okay, when she's at the top, everyone's here. I think she's a great vocalist. This album was just so special. Abracadabra alone was so special this year because it just had such mass appeal. It was old Gaga. And it's crazy because it did not achieve that much commercial success. It did not peak very high on the charts, but everyone I knew, from like older people that are chronically offline that never hear about anything, they were really into Abracadabra. Young people, like little kids doing, like dancing to it at their birthday parties and stuff, like across the world. So like it was just this moment, and it premiered during the Grammys this year. And I had heard the rumors that it was coming and it was going to be at the commercial, and I was like, there's no way. Like, if you're in any fandom, you know, every week there's a new rumor of like, they're dropping this week or dropping that and this, and it's always something too good to be true. So for the Abracadabra video and song, I was like, that's too good to be true. There's no way she's premiering a single and a music video on the Grammys tonight. And then it happened, and I gagged. We know the choreo becoming instantly iconic. It was just classic Gaga. And but this time she wasn't all tortured and depressed and unhealthy, and she's in a great relationship that fuels her and helps her have a partner with Father Monster Michael. It's just everything I could have asked for. Like, if you asked me this time last year if this was gonna be the year I would have as a little monster, I would be like, there's no way. There's no way, because everyone kind of had written Gaga off as like way past her peak and whatever. And she still has her loyal fan base. But then Mayhem came out, and it was mayhem. It was mayhem. I love this whole album. My favorite track is Garden of Eden, but I love like all the tracks. Clearly, I'm obsessed, and she did get recognized by the Grammys. She was the most nominated female artist, and so I hope we get something at the Grammys. I think it feels like our time. I want a manifestation circle, please, for some Grammys for Gaga. I'm obsessed with her voice. I'm obsessed with her being so camp. The Monster Ball tour DVD changed my life. Of course, her speech about the Barbie doll in Madison Square Garden changed my life. She's always stood up for the LGBTQ plus community and marginalized communities. She has always spoken out, even when it was not popular, when, you know, same-sex marriage was illegal. She stuck up for trans people. When people were speculating she was trans, and she was like, my fans don't care and neither should you. I stand this woman with my whole being, and I can critique her art here and there, or like say like a song I don't like here and there, but like there's a reason I stand. Okay. I have to cut myself off. This happened last year, and last year we had like nothing to go off of except a flop movie and a very short album of old-timey covers. And so this year I'm like, oh my god, I could have cut myself off then. What am I gonna do now with the year we have had? And just like the press, the interview, like I ate it all up. So the night this video is supposed to be trying to say something nice. Like, I don't have to try hard at all and say nice things about Lady Gaga. I could be here all day. I guess I'll move on. I don't want to, especially seeing who's next. Next up is a tough one. This is the 143 of this year. So this is Taylor Swift, and her album this year, released in the fall of 2025, is The Life of a Showgirl. Taylor was here last year. That's something nice about Taylor, that for better or for worse, she's been releasing an album every year, a new album. That's something I praised her for last year, and I'll continue to praise, that like, she feeds her fans. She never lets her fans go hungry. That's for sure. Next. Just kidding. I don't know. This was a rough year, I think, to be a Swiftie. Even last year, like, Tortured Poets, I didn't appreciate that as an era very much, but I still had some nice things to say. But this year, it's a little tough with Taylor Swift. She put out a very divisive album. I think something nice I can say is just like her power is insane. And just the amount of noise and discourse and think pieces that Life of a Showgirl inspired was kind of wild. Like, no artist has that power of like that many people caring. Honestly, she should have stolen Demi's idea and called her album It's Not That Deep, and maybe that could have shielded her from some criticisms, because that's how the branding was of the album. It was supposed to be fun, her return to pop music that was radio hit friendly, and she was back with Max Martin, which that's something nice I can say, that she appreciates Max Martin. I guess I appreciate the attempt at returning to pop, I appreciate she edited this time around. Like track length wise, it was a tight 12-track album compared to Tortured Poets being like 30 something, so that to me is important. I don't know. This is hard. This is hard. This one's hard. I appreciated some of the visuals for Life of a Showgirl. Like the photo shoots looked fun. I liked the one in the pink room with the feather. I don't understand. I mean, I'm glad she got engaged. Congrats. Another trend alert this year. Lots of engagements and marriages for our main pop girls. Selena, Lady Gaga, Taylor, Charlie XCX even got married. It was tough. I mean, I am also like a big Angel, Charlie XCX fan. So it was awkward to have a diss track that was of that quality. Honestly, I think if the diss track to Charlie would have been a serve, people would have forgiven it more if it had been a banger, if it had been a bop, because it wasn't, and the lyrics were super cringe, and it was just not good dissing. It came off very bully vibes and punching down, rather than like, I don't know, she could have critiqued more real things about Charlie. I don't know, it was just so cringe and strange. Oh my god, I'm breaking the rules of the video. Going into critique. It's hard. I feel like even the Swifties will be with me, or will understand, even if they enjoy the album and the era. That it's tough for us on the outside of Swiftiedom to understand this one, because I've seen a lot of criticism from Swifties themselves, which I've appreciated because it helps me understand, like, because I haven't really liked most Taylor eras, or any, like, I'm not obsessed with any Taylor era, so like for me it's nothing new to not like a Taylor album, but seeing Swifties dissect it and why they feel disappointed in Taylor has helped me understand like how this album is different, in that it has been more polarizing to her own fandom, because the general public has always been polarized about Taylor Swift, but her own fandom is very loyal, insanely loyal, which is something else nice I'll say about her fans. The Swifties are like loyal to her, and they keep her at the top of the charts. So she's lucky for that. She built that, you know, she's at the center of that. So yeah, it was interesting to see the Swifties critique this album, and just the lyrics were tough, and also her doing press. This is something nice. Oh, okay. I had newfound appreciation for her avoiding press the last few years and avoiding interviews, because this year she went and did a lot of press and interviews, and I did not love it. I mean, I'm not a fan of like the crowd she's been in. Yeah, whatever. I keep deviating from the point. Can I deviate one last time? Because this made me mad. When she talked about declining the Super Bowl, and her saying Travis Kelce is out there risking his life for this honorable game of American football. She doesn't want to be worrying about what choreo she's going to do for her halftime show. Very much minimizing and trivializing the job of a pop star compared to the job of an athlete, which is like the same end goal of a pop star and an athlete is to entertain the masses. So to me, they're very similar. They're both dangerous and exhausting and take training and talent and time and a whole team of a lot of people. Like, I just had to, but I still appreciate she's a cat lady. I gotta move on because I cannot keep to the challenge of this video with this artist. At least not this year. Okay, next artist. Let's cleanse the palette a little bit and talk about Doja Cat. She's in the building, V. It's been an interesting journey for Doja Cat this year. Her album was not very commercially successful, so her status as main pop girl is perhaps not as strong as it once was, especially like Planet Her era. She was everywhere in the mainstream, and she struggled to find her footing after Planet Her. Her last album was a lot more rap focused, and also she made a lot of weird choices with her persona, her public persona during that era. It was very like angry and anti-fame, and I do feel like that era played a part in alienating her fans. But now with V, she is back into her pop rap hybrid that I think is her special ability in the pop landscape, that she does pop and rap so well. And I really loved V. It was very 80s inspired. I love the 80s. And not everyone loves the 80s, but like the 80s were such a great time for pop music. Honestly, I think they're the best time for pop music. It's kind of the base of like all of the pop music I love today. So I appreciated this direction because she did 80s, but she added her voice to it, her perspective, and also her rapping, which is kind of her signature. So I, unpopular opinion, loved V. It was very polarizing. I think she's just gone so back and forth through her eras. It's maybe given the public whiplash. And also, during her last era, the Scarlet era, she really denounced her previous work. So everything that gave her commercial success. And I'm still not quite clear if that was like the persona of Scarlet or really how she feels, or if she was just like in a mood or something. But I do think like hating your previous work very vocally and saying like your fans were stupid for liking that and stuff like that it's just not gonna go over well, and it's gonna do some damage. And I feel like she is feeling the damage now with V, and it kind of left the charts pretty early. It hasn't had any huge breakout singles, even though like the songs are good, and that's what confuses me because I love Jealous Type, I love Gorgeous. She is just a master of pop music and like moving the genre forward and incorporating rap with pop. And also her choreography, I don't recall if it's been this good the whole time, but like this era specifically, her choreo has been gagging me completely. Her VMAs performance became an instant classic for music video night in my household because just her dancing is like, you know, Janet Jackson level. It's getting to that point. And that kind of just surprised me because she's already so good at singing, rapping, and then dancing too. She is just such a like generational talent to me. This might be an unpopular or controversial opinion, but to me, she is the only Gaga daughter of the current pop generation. The way she pisses people off, it's kind of like the online Gen Z generation's version of how Gaga would piss people off back in the day. It's not like a direct comparison or that their sound similar or that they have the same values, because I don't believe any of those things. Just like the way the public reacts to them and the amount of talented they are in their crafts. That's where the parallel is to me. And I see other artists be compared to Gaga at times, and I just don't see it because they're not like pushing boundaries with their fame. I don't know, it's tough, but I love the music video for Gorgeous. She included a lot of models. It was so like it's just a commitment to the 80s. I don't really get what the France comes in, the Paris aesthetic, like I'm not that deep in the lore, but I bought the album because I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, Doja Cat is just like talented. Like she's been messy and she's controversial like at times for sure. So I'm not saying like unproblematic queen or anything, but like when we're talking about talent, she is like the most talented of like the current generation, the last few years of main pop girls, in my opinion. And I love V, justice for V. Okay, the next main pop girl is Lorde. She released an album this year called Virgin. I gotta love Lorde. She is not really my type of music, but she definitely defined the sound of a whole generation in the 2010s. And I think she's had such high artistic peaks that she is in that like phase of rediscovering or exploring her art form. I think Solar Power was like a difficult time for her, or like a difficult era, because it was a flop era, I guess. It is what it is. So now with Virgin, she has come back, and I do think she's still kind of struggling to find her footing. Virgin was one of the biggest snubs at the Grammys this year. It didn't really, I don't think it got any nominations, which surprised a lot of fans, but also she did have beef with the Grammys because she called them out when they didn't invite her to perform when she was nominated for, I think, either Best Album or Best New Artist, one of those. They asked all of her fellow nominees, who were all male, to perform and not her. And so she did call them out publicly, and ever since, it kind of feels like the Grammys have had beef with her, and they've blacklisted her in a sense. I don't take the Grammys thing as like anything to take away from her artistic merit. I mean, it is tough, like annoying. It's the man. What can you do? And speaking of the man, Lorde really explored gender nonconformity with this album, which I really appreciate. And just like being a woman, and sometimes she feels like a man and sometimes like a woman. It was very non-binary coded, and I appreciate her for that. I think she's another artist who like follows her artistic instincts and is very much a musician. She was so young. She's like the youngest Best New Artist or Song of the Year winner. So she's still pretty young, like compared to her contemporaries. And I think she is finding her place. And also post Life of a Showgirl, I had even more appreciation for Lorde's response to Girl So Confusing on Brat, because she really took a song that could be interpreted as a diss track, or like a headline could say Charlie XX, this is Lorde, and she could just run with that and be offended and make her own diss track or something. But she instead really listened to the song, paid attention to it, and responded to it with nuance and in an iconic way for pop culture. The lines in her remix of Girl So Confusing were instantly iconic. You walk like a bitch. When I was 10, someone said that. And it's just self-defense until you're building a weapon. Let's work it out on the remix. Banger after banger of a line. Instantly, it's in the pop culture lexicon, and that is true impact, and it's fierce. I kind of feel like it also started a trend of even more collabs and more remixes, and just like I've seen a lot of my favorite smaller pop artists jumping on collabs with each other and adding a verse to a song, and I just feel like this helped at least like promote that and show that that's like a cool thing to do to unite fans and to make a moment. It's just that girl. I think Lorde is figuring out her relationship with commercial success in general as an artist. I honestly have faith she'll get there again, but I think it's hard. It's similar to something I said last year about Halsey. It's hard when an artist has defined kind of like the sound of a certain time period. Once that time period passes by, it feels like they struggle to find their footing because they're just so associated to like 2013 or whatever. So I think Halsey suffers from that, Lorde suffers from that. But I just appreciate Lorde being vulnerable, being honest in her music, talking about womanhood, just doing her thing artistically. Okay, next I want to talk about Laufey, which, yes, I did have to look up how to pronounce it because it is not pronounce at all how it's spelled in English. She is Icelandic, and they spell and pronounce things differently over there, of course. But Laufey is an interesting main pop girl. I didn't realize she was kind of in this realm, but when she tours arenas. She's wildly popular. She's a big voice for Gen Z. That's how I learned of her, from like my friends' little siblings that are into her and stuff. She released an album this year called A Matter of Time, and it's very refreshing. I mean, Laufey, she's very unproblematic. She stays in her lane. She is very musical, very classical music inspired, and she brings that into her music. If you haven't heard her music, it's very jazzy and very like bossa nova. It's hardly like what you picture when you hear the term pop music, because it's just very of another time, like Billie Holiday style. So I appreciate that. I appreciate she's in her own lane. It's very refreshing. She's bringing classical music to Gen Z. Like, who would have thought they would resonate with that? But they do, and they really like her. And I think it's smart as an artist to kind of carve out a unique niche for yourself, because I feel like it helps the artist pursue projects with less competition on those projects. So like Laufey could do like an album that's all a ballet, and then the ballet tours, and it's like a unique project that only she would do, really. I think that's a smart strategy to, I mean, I'm sure it's her own preference and artistic vision to have this jazz inspired and classical inspired pop, but I think it's also like a smart strategy to like, she's like the only one doing this right now at her level, at her mainstream platform. It's very smart, and I do think like, despite the song sounding very traditional, the message of her songs is very vulnerable and relatable. Like in her new album, A Matter of Time, I love the song Snow White, which is about kind of like Eurocentric beauty standards and feeling like you're never enough as a woman, like looks wise, talking about very real things, and kind of like in the age of social media, just like how we're always comparing ourselves and stuff. So it was interesting to me listening through to the album and paying attention, and it was like, wow, these are some relatable lyrics for young people, because she's a young person herself. A lot of the songs were about falling in love and then heartbreak. There were some like pretty fierce diss tracks on there, which again, if I was just like listening to it, I wouldn't realize it was a diss track. But then if you pay attention to the lyrics, it's like she's mad at somebody. Somebody did her dirty. Namely the track Mr. Eclectic and Tough Luck from her albums. I was like, woo, she's mad. There's like vulnerability and relatability there, which I think is interesting as a juxtaposition to like a more traditional classical sound, because I feel like that could feel like a little like pretentious, I guess, like in the art world, like this is like superior and not accessible, relatable to like the average person, but she's kind of blending the two things, and I think it's genius. Good on Laufey. Honestly, I can't say anything negative about her. She's unproblematic and loves classical music. Like, who can hate that? Okay, our next main pop girl is one of my favorites from the year, and also in the building, Kesha, with her album Period. So Kesha's one of these main pop girls that has probably fallen in 2025 from main pop girl status, because she's honestly fully independent and releasing her music fully independently. Your favorite indie artist, Kesha. But I do feel like she kind of has permanent main pop girl status to me because of how much she defined the pop music of the 2010s and her sound. And still to this day, like, her singles from back then go viral on TikTok. Like Your Love Is My Drug, I feel like was huge the last couple years on TikTok. She's still very much there and has had an impact on pop culture. She's been a voice for survivors. I appreciate just like how outspoken she has been. And I was obsessed with Period. Like, I was not planning on buying it necessarily until I listened to it, and then I was like, I need to buy this now. So much so I had to buy both the vinyl and the CD. That's when you know I really love an album. I mean, not always, because girl who has the budget for that much vinyl or space. Honestly, they take up so much space. But at times when I find an album I really like, I will buy both. There was something so nostalgic about the tracks on this album that felt like 2010s pop Kesha was back, but at the same time they felt new for 2025. Particularly the track Boy Crazy. Oh my god, I'm obsessed with that song. I mean, it's exactly my taste to a T. And I also love the song Red Flag. That one just feels so nostalgic of the 2010s era. And I like the more mid-tempo songs on here. Love Forever, The One. Also, I have appreciated how Kesha has been collabing with other artists that I really love. She had a deluxe track for this called Attention, and it was with two of my favorite smaller pop artists, Slater and Rose Gray, which was like a dream come true, like 3 of my favorites on one track. And she also did a remix of Boy Crazy with Jade, my other favorite pop artist of this year. She collabed with 5E, a J-pop group that I really like too. So like she has been collabing, uplifting the like current generation of smaller, like the middle class of pop girls trying to break through. She also hooked up Demi Lovato with her producer, and he produced a lot of It's Not That Deep. So these 2 albums, no surprise I own them both. I think I'm a fan of Zone, this producer. So that's cool. Like, it just feels like the opposite of gatekeeping and just being cool. And I just love Kesha. I love the Rainbow album when that came out. There's so many, like, kind of underrated gems on there. Something about Kesha, just, she kind of has, like, cool Thea energy. Like, she's your cool aunt that never had kids and had a party girl era in her early 20s, and now you can trust her to tell her you got a tattoo or that you're pregnant or something crazy, and she'll be cool about it and give you good advice. And she, you know, she's been there and she can help you out. And I love her for it. And I loved Period, like justice for Period. We're at our last artist. Oh my god, finally. My final artist I want to talk about, in case you haven't noticed, I haven't talked about her because she's huge. Probably like the biggest pop star of 2025. And that is Sabrina Carpenter. She released Man's Best Friend, and only her and Taylor Swift are repeats from last year. So I commend both of them, honestly, for being prolific and releasing an album 2024 and an album 2025. Like, we are hustling, and that's something I have really appreciated about Sabrina this year. Especially, it's just her hustle. And I just love that she loves it, that she loves fame, that she doesn't want to take a step back. She's like, give me more. And she just wants to do stuff. I think she worked for so long and so hard on breaking into the mainstream that now she's like, I want to do everything I never had the budget to do in all of those years. And more power to her. I love a pop star that loves being famous. God forbid a pop star loves fame. No, I get it. Fame is crazy, but Sabrina's rolling with the punches, and she's into it. She's leaning in. I mean, she released an album like a year after her previous album, Short and Sweet. Now it's Man's Best Friend. She's just riding that momentum that started with Espresso and has not stopped since. I could sum up this whole segment just by saying the Man-Child music video. Like, it's so easy to say nice things about Sabrina Carpenter, because like that video blew my mind. I don't care for the song. It's so country. Like, and I'm not into country, but the music video, the amount of setups that music video had is just insane, that I don't even know. Like, I need the behind the scenes documentary about how that was produced, because it's just like the amount of detail, and like it's just like a bunch of scenes. It's insane. I don't understand it in the best way. Like, she gagged me with that one, and it deserves music video of the year at the Grammys. I believe it was nominated. Man's Best Friend did get some Grammy noms for sure, and it's up for like the big 4: album of the year, record of the year, song of the year, for Man-Child. Her videos are just so good, and the way Man's Best Friend and Sabrina she's had such an eye for TikTok hits. It's so smart and good that she has nailed it. Like, the amount of TikTok trends that came out of Man's Best Friend is insane. And honestly, the TikTok trends help me appreciate the tracks better because it's not totally my style of pop music, but like once I hear it and match the visuals to it, I come to appreciate it more. Like, it happened to me with Tears because I didn't really love Tears. I just thought the lyrics were a little on the nose. And I prefer Sabrina more when she's doing like metaphors and innuendos rather than just being literally I'm wet kind of lyrics. Like, to me, House Tour is the complete opposite, is genius. It's like a perfect metaphor, genius, and it works for a TikTok hit. But I've seen the thirst trap Tears TikToks here and there, usually like funny ones like riffing on it, but like that has made me appreciate the song more. And also the video for Tears was fierce. Like, as much as like the lyrics aren't my favorite, like the video, she had drag queens in it was fierce. I loved the Tears music video. It deserved more love. But yeah, she's just like cracked the formula for TikTok hits. It's amazing. We had House Tour, we had Tears, Nobody's Son, That Boy Is Corrupt. And that one's another one that I appreciated more. When Did You Get Hot is a great one for like getting ready, like transition. It's genius. Like, her and her team are nailing it, nailing social media, no pun intended. Sabrina's rubbing off on me. Also, her tour has these viral moments built in too. We had the position thing during Juno, which is bleed over from last year's album. She also like reveals her bodysuit with a towel every tour, and it changes sometimes, and it's like, woo, new bodysuit, and it's so cute. She's like, yay, look at it. I just love that. It's just like genius, like these moments that are just so easy to share on social media. She's on it with that. And it's been a thing since back in the day, Emails I Can't Send tour. She would do a different outro for every city for Nonsense. So like, it's clearly her and her, like, she's been ready for this, and she just needed the budget and the eyes on her to like execute all these fun ideas she has. And so I've really enjoyed watching her be campy and try all these things. I loved her SNL performance as like a girl singing in her room. Like, that's so cute and relatable. And also, like, I was like, please, can we get her a rom-com stat? Because she is an actress. If we recall, that's what I was originally a fan of, her acting in Netflix movies. Actually, she did just announce she's gonna do an Alice in Wonderland project, and that's perfect for her. So I want to see her act more. I think she could do it. I think her on SNL showed that. She did hosting and musical guest, which is fierce. I just appreciate her a lot. I appreciate her hustle, her ambition, without like being cutthroat or like competitive or not a girl's girl as well. Like, it feels like she's kind of cool with everybody in the music industry. I think she's like a consummate professional, and she knows like this is her dream, and she's like very smart about not doing anything to fuck it up, like not being a diva or having beef with somebody or being rude. Like, she has her eyes on the prize, and it's not like at the expense of everyone else, but it's like, this is my lane and I'm doing every project I've ever wanted to do. Also, I loved her having like a controversial album cover, got the people talking. Like, people are just so and I feel like as soon as the cover unveiled, everyone was like, oh my god, I can already hear the think pieces. And I feel like because everyone said that, then the think pieces came out. I don't like, I think it was kind of like a, oh no, this is gonna have backlash, and then the people that are like, yeah, I should have backlash to this. It's a weird cycle. And also, last thing I need to praise about Sabrina Carpenter, just like, and I said it last year, I'm pretty sure her branding is just so good. It's so specific to her. The blonde curls, the bangs, the sweetheart like pinup, the white go-go boots. Like, you go to a Sabrina Carpenter concert, everyone's wearing white go-go boots. So I feel like she took a long time to get there. and finally like kind of stumbled into it and then like honed it when it hit with people. Because before Espresso and Short and Sweet era, she was kind of like this like Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift hybrid in her aesthetic. It really feels like those were her like touch points for who she wanted to be as an artist. But then she found that like this kind of vintage aesthetic was uniquely her and her brand, and it's just like so identifiable now. It's kind of like she had the Ariana and Taylor, and then she brought in like the Dolly Parton, and now she's like in this overlap of those three and become kind of like just her own force and recognizable brand. And I just think just all around her marketing and branding is genius. Her recurring theme of just horniness and innuendos, but making it cheeky and campy, it's just, it all works perfectly. And I think because she honed it, that's what skyrocketed her to mainstream appeal. And now she's a superstar and a main pop girl. And that's everybody. Oh my god. I thought this video was going to be shorter because it felt like we had less pop girl energy in 2025 compared to 2024, which was insane. But no, we had a lot going on in 2025. I'm along for the ride. I love it. Let me know your fave if I didn't talk about them. Let me know who are the pop girls you have been obsessed with, or just the pop music, your album of the year, your song of the year. Honestly, in 2025, I was a little worried about the music because 2024 was so strong and I liked a lot of the main pop girl projects. But this year has had a lot of albums and projects that I have loved from the middle class of pop, the smaller pop artists. And in case you're wondering who to stan, and also like these are the people to pay attention to like get on the ground floor, and once they go mainstream you can be like, I've been there since 2025. So I want to share my list of like my favorite artists this year that are not quite at mainstream status yet, but I could see them getting there. And let me know yours as well. Who are those people that you feel could hit it mainstream if they just hit the right timing or release the right thing? For me this year, it has been Pink Pantheress. She released an amazing EP and remix album to it. Fancy that. So good. Very electronic. A lot of my favorite artists are leaning electronic. I'm not so much in the singer-songwriter genre, so y'all can chime in for those. But yeah, Pink Pantheress. Slater is one of my favorite artists of all time. She hasn't released her album yet, but her album from 2023 is amazing, one of my favorites, and she's released some banger singles this year. It's a lot more abrasive than her last album, but still very See You Next Tuesday-y, if you know what I mean. Rebecca Black, she was opening for Katy Perry on tour this year, and she released an EP called Salvation that was just so freaking good. And yes, the Friday Rebecca Black, she's fierce now. Jade, I already mentioned her. She released an album about showbiz. It's called That's Showbiz Baby, and it was so good. She used to be in Little Mix, which is a girl group that was huge in the UK and everywhere but the US. Zara Larsson, oh my god, she's been one of my favorites. She was opening for Tate McRae on tour. She released the Midnight Sun album. She's so good. Such a vocalist, such a choreography queen. The music is so good, so fun, such pure pop bliss. Bookmark it for next summer. Kim Petras, she's been a favorite of mine for a long time. Tinashe, she had a remix of No Broke Boys this year. One of my songs of the year, for sure. Rose Gray, I already talked about. She did a collab with Kesha, does really fun dance pop music. Adele, she's going to be opening for Demi Lovato on tour, and she came out of the same show that Cat's Eye did, which Cat's Eye is also next on my list. I love Cat's Eye. That show on Netflix, any show on Netflix, building a group, building a band, I will eat it up, trust. I've loved following contestants from the Pop Star Academy. Cat's Eye was the group that came out of it, but Adele was someone on the show as well, and she's been making these clubby bangers lately. Madison Rose, she released an album this year. She's an independent artist, very fun, upbeat pop kind of. Her MO is kind of bringing back 2010s, like maximalist pop, and I really appreciate that from her. Say Now is another girl group who is actually opening for Jade, who is also on this list, but they have a really fun song called Supermarket that is really fun, and they might be on the up and up as a girl group. And then going into more of an electronic or indie direction, I've really enjoyed Peach PRC. She has some really fun kind of campy pop songs. Nina Girachi has one of my favorite albums of the year. It's definitely leaning into EDM territory. It's pop EDM, I would call it. So if you're not an EDM girly, it might not be your thing, but if you're like even a little chronically online, this album is for all of us who grew up online, and it was just so good. It's called I Love My Computer. Been replaying it nonstop since it came out. Another electronic artist I like a lot is Horse Girl, who is actually really creepy looking because she wears like a horse head, and I don't really understand the mechanics of it, but the music is really fun and I really love it. And then some other girlies you might have heard of, but I feel like have been floating on the edge of mainstream for a bit. One is Madison Beer, surprisingly, because kind of found a niche in like dark pop. I think she's gearing up for another album soon. And then another one is Addison Rae, who I'm kind of a stan of. I've been there since the early days, her first EP. I'm really obsessed with that EP. Her debut album came out this year called Addison Self-Titled. I went and saw her on tour. I lost all my innocence at the Addison World Tour. I do feel like Addison Rae is going to go mainstream. Buy your stocks now if you're interested. Those are kind of my favorites from the year. I'm sure I've missed some, but these are all people that have specifically put out albums or significantly good singles this year. And yeah, let me know your people that you feel like are gonna go mainstream or your favorite main pop girls. Let's keep the trend going of saying nice things. What a fun year for pop music, 2025. It was kind of a sleeper. I didn't expect this, but when I look at my playlist of like all my favorite songs from the year, it's like 10 hours long or something at this point of the year. So that means that's probably the longest it's ever been. So please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed. I put out new videos whenever I feel like it about TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things. And you can follow me at Miscellaneous to keep up with me, or just turn on the bell notification here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.